And welcome back, everyone, to its last call. Last call with the alcohol only on the Last Call YouTube channel. Now, joining me here on location, he is now a very impressive, still undefeated. And well, when you want to make a statement, you got to make a statement. And well, after his last win, I think it's safe to say this gentleman definitely made a statement. Everybody's still talking about the slam, so we got to get him on the show. I give you a man who even Grant Neal said, "Hey, don't sleep on this kid. He's something special." And this is before the fight. I
Yeah.
give you it's Archie Colgan. Archie, let's start off here with a lot of big things going on. So, how after that win, how many people were calling you up, going, "All right, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty sick." Because I'm guessing everybody's just talking about a slam, not even the win. It's just the slam.
Yeah, the slam actually, to me, I didn't think like the slam was. I thought like anybody would kind of do that, but I guess not. It got a lot of views, a lot of likes, and just people liked it. It was awesome.
Well, take me to before that, because he's trying something weird, and you're looking, going, okay, and you gotta be worried here, and you're keeping your composure. When you
Yeah.
realize you have him there, is there a part of it's like, okay, does he know what he just did? Does he know? But I can just now, AKA Brock Lesnar suplex his ass somewhere, run him into a cage, power bomb him out live, rampage. Does he know what he just did? Because you could see it in his eyes that when you pick him up, he's like, oh crap.
Yeah, I was honestly I was a little confused. So I do now, but I didn't know what the buggy choke was. But so I knew that he wouldn't be doing that unless he was trying to go for like some sort of position or submission or something. So just the way that it was kind of weird. And then when I sat up from there and he still was holding it, I was like, oh, this guy's going for something. So then I stood up all the way to my feet and he still held on to it. And I was at that point, once I sat up originally before like coming up to my feet, I knew I was gonna slam him on his head. I was like, well, I'm gonna get all the way up, and even if he tries to let go, I'm gonna hold him with my hands. I'm gonna drop him on his head. And we're too far in now. I'm gonna get something out of this.
Do you still get how impressive that is? Because that's deadlifting a 170-pound man, and it's not like you're on your feet and you go, whoop, like they do in powerlifting. This is you're on your knees and you still have to get up while this guy is on you. I mean, that's a pretty heavy little freaking guy here. This isn't like some toddler you're carrying around going, wee. This is like a 170-pound guy, probably weighed back in about 180 pounds. So
yeah,
how the hell do you do that?
I just make sure that I'm doing my strength condition right. I lift hard and I've always been fairly strong. So, that lifting things up like that has never really been an issue for me. And that's also kind of a reason why I'm at 170. I'm not the biggest 170 pounder. Ultimately, I know the end game for me would be down towards down at 155. But because of my strength, I feel that I'm okay up here at 70. So the lifting wasn't that hard to me, but it was exciting to do it. I'll tell you that. It was fun to put somebody on their head.
So overall, we had to win. You've had time to reflect. The trainers have, your team have looked and went, okay, this is what you did right. This is what you did wrong. Like, what were you happy about in this fight besides the win? I mean, like, what were some of the things you noticed that you've improved on from your last LFA fight?
I just feel like my footwork on my feet is just getting better every time. We've put a lot of emphasis on that and making sure that it's not just like bull rushing into just a couple strikes or a combination or just exploding in, because I am an explosive guy and it's very easy to do. And I spent most of my amateur fights doing that and just kind of exploding in. And I didn't have there wasn't any repercussion for it. Like the guys didn't. It wasn't like I jumped in and then I got dropped or I ate some big shots doing it and landed my own shots. It was just that I would jump in and explode in, and I was able to just kind of run through them just because I was an explosive, strong guy. But my coaches kind of came on the backside and were like, "Hey, man, moving forward, we're gonna really hit our footwork and our movement, and we're gonna keep these guys circling and spinning." And then when we do decide to commit to our strikes and our combinations, right, we're pretty safe. We're in a safe spot to land these shots on these guys while they're moving out of the direction of their shots. So I guess I didn't really get to showcase it too much because a lot of it took place on the ground, but I was really impressed and proud of my footwork and my motion on my feet.
So how tough was that for you learning about the footwork in terms of you were a wrestler by trade? I mean, you were a damn good wrestler. You were able to compete over the NCAAs. You wrestled for Wisconsin. How long did it
Wyoming.
take you to do it, to be able to learn with striking and everything, and not just go, well, I'm going back to wrestling because I know because that's your safety net. That's the thing that you knew. So how tough was it for you learning the footwork, learning the striking when, as a wrestler, you're just trained, okay, takedowns, pummeling in. You don't have to worry about jabs, setting up shots, and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I think the concept behind it is pretty similar to wrestling. Like, you don't want to just shoot straight in underneath somebody because it's hard to get to the legs. You want to create a small angle. And then once you get off on that angle, then you can shoot in. And then the shots come a little bit easier than it is if you just shoot straight into somebody. So that concept made sense to me already, where I think maybe to some other athletes, if they were to come into it, it maybe doesn't make as clear sense. So when they said it, it made sense. And it was something that I had been told from other coaches, like in wrestling, that, Archie, we need to create an angle. You are fast, you are explosive, but, these guys are also good. You need to get this angle. And then, once you explode, it's going to be much easier for you to get this takedown. So when I started transitioning and I thought about it in that mindset, pretty much the same as a wrestler, just now using striking instead of shooting, it just made sense and it started to flow really well. And, my coach breaks it down for me really well in easy terms that it just comes and flows pretty basic to me. So it's obviously the change only is taking a shot versus punching and throwing hands and kicks and stuff. But it was really the same sort of stuff. And it just took, the reps and the hours that it's going to take to, start to perfect something like that. And obviously I have not perfected it, but, leaps and bounds better than where I was.
As I said, when we had Grant Neal on the show, he was raving about it. He said there's NCAA Olympic wrestling, then there's MMA wrestling, and there's different as different can be. And you've done that. You've competed in, the NCAAs. You've competed in the Olympic team trials. How long did it take you to get used to that MMA wrestling where it's, okay, you don't just take it down. You have to, take his back. You have to go into different positions. You have to constantly keep moving, understanding, not get, walk into something, not walk into, guillotine choke or an armbar. For you, how long did that take to get used to just knowing everything you knew about wrestling and then just, putting the ball and throwing it outside going, okay, well, I got to relearn all this stuff again?
Yeah, it is. I think a lot of people just think because people are good wrestlers that they should be able to just take somebody down and manhandle them. The taking down part, yes, a good wrestler should be able to take it down, but it's a lot different in MMA wrestling to hold somebody down than it is in, collegiate wrestling, because the whole objective for the bottom guy in collegiate wrestling is not to give up his back. Well, in jiu-jitsu, giving up your back is showing your back to your opponent, but in wrestling, giving up your back is showing your back to the mat. So, his whole objective is not to put his back to the mat. So you only really have to control this guy on like 180-degree field, or you don't have to worry about this guy rolling all the way through. We're just worried about what's going on from here up, because we know he's not going to put himself to his back. But in MMA wrestling, this guy's doing, everything, the full 360. So he's going all the way to his back. He's standing up. He's just kind of mixing it all. He's digging underneath and trying to roll underneath to grab on your ankles and all that. So that did take some time to like understanding and control that it's not going to be the same as just taking somebody down and grabbing onto a wrist and being able to chop them over and then sit on the ankle and just, kind of ride them out like that. It's going to be different. And I still don't think that I've gotten the full grasp of it, but I'm definitely getting better at it. And I'm a lot more comfortable at it. But mainly probably because I'm going to like the jiu-jitsu practices and I'm taking that more seriously and not just trying to, I'm not just trying to like act like wrestling trumps all. And, now that I know wrestling, I just need to know a couple of defenses of jiu-jitsu and then I'm good. Now I'm trying to learn jiu-jitsu also as a sport because, because the whole giving up your back to the mat and stuff, it's completely different to wrestlers. And that's probably why you see like high level wrestlers, they take people down all the time, but then they get right back up. You're like, oh, this guy's really good at this. He's like, well, maybe it's just because the wrestler didn't take the time and consideration into learning, the full 360 of escape that this guy has instead of the 180.
How tough was it? How tough has it been for you this past year doing all this or even with COVID going on? You started you were doing the amateur tournaments the amateur MMA in 2020. Yep. You had one fight all, from COVID on. And then after that, everything got shut down. So for you, how tough was that when you're going, okay, I'd love to get some amateur stuff. I'd love to, develop more, but there's just not much out there. I need to put money on the table soon. So, hey, let's jump pro after 3 fights and try to see if I can do this year.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, my coaches and I, we felt pretty secure with turning pro earlier than even what I did. But, for the safety route, we just wanted to get more experience and try to test ourselves against like the best guys that we can find at my size in Colorado and, other areas too. But so I took that fight in February of 20. And that was like a week before the shutdown happened. So the shutdown happened and everything like really escalated quickly, right? And it was like 2 months, 3 months of no training and just trying to figure out how everything's going to go. And, then I got a fight in July for Sparta Combat League. And that was for the belt. And that went really well for me. And I ideally actually wanted to get 2 more fights in as an amateur. I wanted to get 5. And then I just couldn't find an opponent who wanted to do it. There's other guys that were like 3-0, guys that were like 4-0. And then, some other guys that were maybe like 6-1 and stuff. And they just wouldn't take the fight. They didn't want to accept it. And we went like, California and Illinois, and we were looking all over the place. And these guys just didn't really want to accept the fight. So at that point, I had been sitting on the bench for a little bit and I was like, man, I'm too early into my career to be able to like sit on, months and months and months of being inactive. I'm healthy. There's no reason for me not to fight. So, I got a manager and he's a great guy, great job over at Martin Advisory Group. And between him and my coaches, we just decided that we're going to turn pro and we're ready to rock. And so far we've been right.
Why do this? I mean, it's a brutal sport. You don't play MMA just like you don't play wrestling. You compete, and there's probably easier ways to make money. So why do this for a very right now low pittance? For as you said, you're putting your body through the ringer. And I know you're not doing a lot of big weight cuts yet, but still, you're cutting weight. You're putting on muscle. You're sacrificing a lot of things. Probably can't have beers. During fight week, you probably had to cut out a lot of food. You probably had to give up a lot of things. Every fight camp, you're always dinged up or beat up because that's just the way it is. Everybody knows it. Nobody wants to say it, but it is. So what is it about MMA that you just love? You're going, God damn it. I need it. I miss it. And without it, I'm just not, I'm not the same.
Yeah. I've always loved the aspect of combat sports of one man versus the other or a woman, but just to see who is better. 2 people go out there and there's a ref and you both have trained your ass off to figure out to become the best that you can. And you both believe you are able and capable of beating the other person. And, only one person is going to be right at the end of the day. And I just love that. I love to train my ass off and to know that somebody believes, once the contract is signed, you know, this guy believes that he can beat me. He believes that he is better than me. And I love the build up to tell him you can't, you know. And I'm gonna, once they sign, you know, you get a little more active, a little more hype, you know. It's another you know, fire under your ass, you know. It's just, it kicks you into gear some more. And the practices just amp up, and you know, and I just love the fact that another person thinks he can beat me, and I have the opportunity to prove him that he cannot. And there's nothing more satisfying, and, you know, depending on which side of the coin you are on, nothing more satisfying and nothing more, you know, belittling than believing you can beat somebody, and we both know there's nothing you can blame it on, and losing to that person and just being like, damn, that guy was literally just better than me. And some guys try to make excuses and say, you know, he got lucky with a submission, or he got lucky with the knockout or the TKO or something. In some situations, it is that, right? You fight 14 minutes and he gets a lucky knockout right at the end. But, you know, if you prepare right, you know, luck doesn't really happen. So on the other guy's half. So I just love the fact that somebody thinks he can beat me, and I get the opportunity to prove that he cannot, and he will not.
Where do you go from here now? Because, as you said, you made a big statement for Bellator. Some guests afterwards, they're going, hey, let's talk contract. Let's talk, you know, future fights. And you and your team are trying to go, okay, we want the best deal. So how tough was it after this fight where the competitor in you was going, yeah, let's do this again. Hey, I'll fight in Russia. You know, give me one of those little Russians, and I'll start suplexing his ass all over the place. And your team's going, no. We need to wait for the deal. You need to be patient. How much was that for you the biggest battle? Like, okay, putting on that poker face going, okay, yep, well, I can't go back to LFA. I can't do this. And when you're going, no, I want to travel. I want to be back on TV, damn it. I want to start suplexing more people.
Yeah, honestly, we haven't had too much of that conversation yet. So the fight that I did have with Bellator was just a one fight thing. And obviously going into that, I think both sides knew that if you show up and you perform well, then, you know, maybe you get another contract or another fight with them. So maybe that's what's in the books for me, is you know, some sort of fight deal with Bellator. But if not, you know, I will just continue to keep the ball rolling and doing as I do and have been doing until time is right.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I give you one of the fast rising prospects in MMA, and a man who, well, a lot of people are talking about, not just from a slam, but because, as he said, he's a guy to keep your eyes on. I give you former University of Wyoming wrestling standout, now undefeated pro. I give you, it's Archie Colgan. Archie, before I let you go, where can fans check you out at? Where is the Twitter page, Instagram, the website? Where can fans hit you up at?
Yeah, obviously you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram. Instagram is a bit more popular for me. Twitter is still building up, but both of them are King_Colgan. That's King, just KING_COLGAN. Reach out. I'll respond back. Some likes, some comments. I appreciate the love.
Archie Colgan, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're always on a pleasure having on the show. We come back. We got much more going on here. Stay tuned for more great action only on Last Call. Last Call with the alcohol only on the Blue Wire Hustle Last Call YouTube channel.